Hello there, friends. Today is March 18th, 2024, and today we're going to take a look at the top 10 Silver Prizm Rookie cards from the 2023 Panini Prizm Football Set. As you can see, we have a CJ Stroud, an Anthony Richardson, Puka Nacua, Bryce Young, Bijan Robinson, Devon Achane, Hendon Hooker, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Rashee Rice with a Will Levis to finish. We also have meat and potatoes numbers down below. These are the breakdown of recent comps. We'll get to those in a moment. First, let's start with CJ Stroud, the man, the myth, the legend. He certainly has taken the league by storm, and his cards most certainly are the most collectible as far as rookies are concerned. On the right-hand side, we have 15 recent sales. These are comps. These are auction sales through eBay that I collected. These are what our number breakdown is going to be based upon. No buy it nows, no best offers, just bids, because I like to see bidders go against each other. As far as the graph is concerned, you can see we had a low of 250, a high of 385, about a 50% swing high to low, which means there's plenty of meat left on the bone for us to make a profit if we get the right cards. So let's talk again. Meat and potatoes. Card number 339, Silver Prizm, CJ Stroud. We've moved all of those comps to the left here and broken them down. Top right corner, we have the PSA submissions, okay? So 860 of them have been submitted. 390 of them have come back perfect at a 45.35% return rate. That is very high. A lot of these Prizms in general are coming back perfect. So I would imagine we'll be seeing quite a few perfect cards hit the market. It'll be interesting to see whether or not the intensity for the PSA 10s maintains or if it slows down due to that high return rate. Blue down below here, this is our average bid price for winning an auction. So on average, people paid $312.04. They also paid $5.16 in shipping, bringing their total out the door price to $316.61 to have the mailman deliver it for you. All right. These numbers are not what I would consider to be fair value because it doesn't take into consideration that sellers have fees, and those fees generally range between 13 and 15%. So orange would be what I would consider fair value. This is the subtraction of those fees. This is what sellers are actually taking home, which is what I consider to be fair market value. $270.39. I also like to employ a stoplight offer system. First offer is a 70% offer. That's $218.43. That is in comparison to this blue number. So that's 70% of the blue. All right. That's my first offer. Second offer, 75%, comes to $234.03. Third and final usually is at $249.63, and that's an 80% offer. However, I do also like to make sure I'm getting into the bottom third of sales. So I like to sort this column ascending and go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here. If you can hear the buses in the background, it's because, yes, I live relatively close to a school, and it is time for school pickup, looks like. Okay, so 247.81 gets us into the bottom third of sales. So that number falls actually right between the yellow and the red, close to that $249 mark here. And that means that 247 now becomes my new final offer because it gets me into the bottom third. Now, the smaller that gap on the graph, as we saw up here, remember when it was 250 to the 385, about a 50% swing. When you get closer to that range, that 50%, that's when this bottom third typically approaches that 80%. So keep that in mind. We'll see things be a little different later on with other cards. If I want to sell in the top third of sales, which is typically where I like to price point at, I go 5 from the bottom and sell for $283.81. So that would net me, about $35 or so in profit. And if you swing all the way to the left, this highlighted cell right here, this would be your buy it now price. If you wanted to mark it as a buy it now on eBay, $327.50 would net you $283.81 and get you that $35 profit. Okay? I know that was a lot of talking just for our first card. The next 9 will go very quickly because now we know what we're talking about. Next up, we're going to take a look at Anthony Richardson. So this graph, very different. We've got massive swings high to low, $77 and then $224, $239. Now, this is why I like to make sure Should have pointed this out earlier. I want to make sure that you all know that I only use these numbers when I'm seeing cards in person. That means I can take a look at sharp corners. I can see clean edges. I can see surfaces that aren't scratched or dented. That is what I apply these numbers to. I want to get the best card and be the most prepared to purchase the best card. And so in that regard, I like to see perfect cards. It's hard to do that when you're just looking at a card online. Keep that in mind. Be very, very thorough. Anyways, we got big swings from low to high. These top two are certainly going to draw us upward on our percentage. But as you look at the second tier here, we're right around 145 as far as more traditional sales. This is going to make probably our second or first offer be the offer of choice for me. So we got 433 submissions, 157 came back at a perfect 10. Smaller percentage, 36.26 when compared to the CJ Stroud. 133.87 is your average bid. 115.84 is going to be your take-home for sellers. 93.71 is first offer. And let's take a look at bottom third of sales. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. $88.62 gets you into the bottom third of sales. Now, obviously that is lower than this first offer, which is what I expected when you have those high swings. Something around that 100% or more swing definitely makes this happen to those first offers. So keep that in mind when you're doing your own comps. Big swings probably means you got to get closer to that 70% at the most. So green is my first and final offer for this card. Comes to $93.71. Again, that's going to be on a nice card. And then from the bottom, I'll go up 5. $125.49 gets me in the top third of sales. That will net me about a $31 profit at a $145 buy it now. Puka Nacua. This one is, I am all in on Puka's cards as of late. I am loving the way his cards are in demand. I like all of his graphs so far on all the cards that I've done. So he is my target collection right now. 27 is the low, 49 is the high, less than 100% swing, which means we'll probably get closer to that second offer. PSA submissions, 361, 145 PSA 10s. That's a 40% clip at a PSA 10 return rate. 37.16 is going to be average bid. Seller take home 31.94. First offer 26.01. And then bottom third. Sort ascending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are, 29.42. Definitely between that yellow and that red. 29.42 is my new final offer. If I get there, I'd love to get in a little bit lower. But again, I'm in on Puka's cards as of late. From the bottom up 5, we have 34.40. So if I sell at that price, get about $4 to $5 profit. That's a $40 buy it now. Bryce Young up next. Swing of 45 to 88, less than 100%, or 89, somewhere around there. Less than 100% swing, just barely, in fact. So we'll see where those percentages fall out. I have a feeling they'll rest right smack dab in the middle. 76.32 is average bid. 65.91 seller take home. 53.42 is going to be first offer. And bottom third, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 63.46. Interesting. Okay, so we definitely had a low bring these numbers down a bit, but we're top heavy on this card. This one, in fact, going above my red first or final offer. So I'm sticking hard at 80%. That's my max offer for Bryce Young right now. I would, man, this probably takes me out of the game in this card, truthfully, just because I don't know. There's got to be some room for a nice profit percentage, and I'm not sure we're going to find that with this card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to make about $6, less than about a 10% swing if we bought it at the 63, I should say. About a $9 profit if we are able to swing from low to high. Yeah, definitely don't have my eye on this card, unfortunately. Not in my book. 81 is going to be your best offer. Next up, Bijan, low to high, 1050 all the way up to 22, so 100% swing. And We've got PSA submissions of 178. 42 have come back PSA 10. Really dramatic drop in the return rate for this one. 2360 as far as percentage return rate. $17.53 average bid. $14.90 is average take home. $12.27 is going to be first offer, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $13.19 falls right around that second offer, 75%. So I'm going to stick hard at $13.19 as my final offer, and $16.51 gets me in the top third here. So $3.50 right around there in profit at a $19.38 buy it now option. Devon Achane, one of the hardest names to pronounce. That's what I was told today, and that's how you pronounce it, so I'm going with it, right? Huge swing, $5.50 low, $15 high. I would call both of these extremes kind of crazy, truthfully, so this card must have really been not very good. Must have been dented corner or something like that, and 15, but fortunately, they'll kind of average each other out in this graph. Let's see where we sit as far as... Here, let's actually do this. We've got to fix this. Achane. Okay, so blue 967 average bid, 677 average first price, and take home for sellers is going to be 809. So first offer $6.77, and bottom third 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $7.07. Right between green and yellow. I'm in at $7 even for this card if I'm going that route, but I really don't like the looks of his graph. I've been staying away from Devon's rookie cards pretty exclusively. His graphs are too wonky for me. Too much craziness going on. But top third gets you in at $8.81. That's a $10.50 buy it now. A few more left. We're almost there. $3.29 Hendon Hooker, $5.60 low, $21.50 high. Again, another insane graph for sure. Again, when I see graphs that are this crazy, I'm usually out. I need a little more consistency so I can depend upon a profit. Down below, we've got 90 submissions, 42 PSA 10, 46.67 return rate, 13.23 is your average bid, $11.18 average take home, 9.26 is first offer. Sorting ascension, ascending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $9.24 right at that green. So green is my first and final offer on the Hendon Hooker. If I was in on it, I am not again because too much craziness on this. $12.95 would net about a few dollars profit. $15.27 buy it now. Jahmyr Gibbs, a little tighter than what we saw before, but not much. $5.50 low, $20.55 high. Scary graph. I should probably change the way it's spread out on here, but what can you do? Next time, PSA submissions 177, 84 of comeback 10s, 47.46%. That's closer to that CJ Stroud return rate. 14.26 is going to be a seller or average bid price. Seller take home 12.07. First offer $9.98. Bottom third of sales 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $11.41 falls right at that 80% mark exactly. And then 5 from the bottom, 14.01 gets you a $2.50 profit. That's a $16.50 buy it now. Again, I'm not touching this card. I want nothing to do with it, especially when you see that even the bottom third gets you right at that 80%. No, thank you. Until it sort of settles out, I would probably look at somewhere else. In fact, I would look here way before I would look at the Jahmyr Gibbs. Rashee Rice, a low of 8, a high of 20.50. Those are going to balance out. Everything is kind of sitting pretty between that $10 and $15 range. Number 350 is your card. PSA submissions 173, 92 are a PSA 10 grade, 53%, over 50% coming back at a 10. Man, oh man. 1231 is your average bid. Seller take home $10.38. First offer $8.62. And we're dropping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $8.51 is my new first and final. actually on this. So that I'm in on this card if I can get a good card, if I can get a good price point. Obviously, plays for a great team. He's going to have plenty of national exposure. I like his rookie cards right now. 5 from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 28. Nets at about a $3.50 return and a $14.50 buy it now. Last but not least, most certainly, probably one of the most intriguing cards for me right now, we have the Will Levis. And you can see a pretty steady rise in his graph right now. 32 is the low, 68 is the high. Right around that 100% swing is where I like to look at cards. And we are seeing 351 submissions, 167 PSA 10s, 47.58% return rate. $49.19 is your average bid. $42.38 is a seller take-home. $34.44 is first offer. And bottom third, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $39.61. So this one's going to follow a true stoplight. 80% is my final offer on this card. $39.36, and that's got to be on a really nice card. But again, I'm very interested in Will Levis's rookie cards right now, just because they are gaining a little traction. People are getting a bit more interested in them. I think his market has settled a bit. To get into the top third of sales, $45.68. That's you about a $6 profit on a $53 buy it now. All right. Well, that's it, everybody. That's what I value these cards at. If you do choose to use any of this information, use it wisely, use it carefully. Remember, at any point in time, these cards could go downhill and you will lose your investment. So just tread carefully. These numbers, I have them, I use them, but then again, I don't usually hold on to cards for very long. I like to turn and burn, make my profit if I can, and move on. So I hope you all find this information useful. Take care.